Hi. Yay, day 5. I got stuff all in the way, so I'm sorry to everyone. Instagram has my camera in the way, and all the other streams have my phone in the way. But that won't last long, So hi. I hope we're excited. I hope we're all caught up. I can't believe how quickly the weekend went. Oh my gosh. My hair's a little bit crazy today, like crazier than usual. I'm trying to let it do its thing. I've been straightening my hair for as long as I started doing my hair, up until like 2 months ago I was straightening it. And it's just, I'm getting old, so it's getting tired, and I've been trying to let it do its thing, which is apparently weird wavy curls. The curls at the back at the bottom are like ringlets, and the front are all just there. So yeah, I'm trying to just embrace it and love my hair for what it is, but it's hard. Anyway, I'm also trying to do a website update, which is exciting. So I'm multitasking, because that's always goes down well, doesn't it? I can turn that off. Oh, I don't have my pattern, and I don't have my chat open. So many things to open and do. A little bit overwhelming in a way. But we'll get there. It'll happen. That's my pattern. So today, what's the time? 2 minutes past. Yeah, whatever. Today we're going to do the straight stitch. I can't remember what I said we were going to do on Friday, but I was thinking about it yesterday, and I get a little bit of fluff on my piece. I was thinking about it yesterday, and yeah, we're going to do the straight stitch. We're going to start with, that was a weird noise. We're going to start with the rest of the leaves, and then I don't expect that will take the whole time, so we will hopefully do the bee's body, and then depending on what time we've got left from there, we might do the rest of the back stitch, which will finish off the bee, which would be lovely. Puns. Hi over on Twitch. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that. Gxa21. I tried. I said I wasn't going to, but I tried. Cool. Well, what's the time? We'll give it 1 more minute for people to jump on. I've got a couple people over on Instagram, and I've got, it looks like at least one person on Twitch, and maybe someone over on YouTube. It's hard to confirm that unless people actually talk, so. I love a good pun. Excellent. I'm so bad at them, but I love them too. Just getting my piece set up. Oh, I gotta turn on my light, otherwise it's got shadows on it. This is not the best camera stand, I'll be honest. There we go. Yeah, not the greatest camera stand. Doesn't like to tighten if I've moved it recently. Sounds like my husband's back from his walk. Oh my gosh. You can call me GX or Amy. Well, hello, GX or Amy. There we go. Alright, let's get started. I'm going to move my phone up there. Well, There's too many things in the way. Oh my goodness. Alright. Remembering to plug it in this time. Except my computer's like, hey, you plugged in your phone. What do you want to do with it? I have been painting walls all weekend. Glad to finally stitch again. Oh, good. We're going to paint walls soon. I'm nervous about messing it up. Oh, my washing just finished. If you can hear it, that's what that little chiming noise is in the background. Anyway, so we are going to start, like I said, with the straight stitch. We're going to do all the rest of the leaves. It might sound like it's a little bit boring, but in my opinion, the straight stitch for leaves actually looks really, really lovely. It's very chunky, especially with the fact that we're going to use all 6 strands. Yeah, I kind of underestimated it in the past. So when I tried it out, I thought that it looked really lovely. So yeah, it's a nice easy stitch. It's like super important to know as a beginner embroiderer. So let's get started. We're going to use our second darkest green, which I'm just double checking is, yep, 501 DMC. Obviously, if you're using one of the other color selections that I've offered, then pick whichever color you like. And we're gonna get all 6 strands. I'm just gonna double check this cut that I have as all 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. It's not a very long bit, but that's okay. So I'm going to try not to lick it this time. But I just like to squeeze it and then push it like, oh, I'll do that again because it wasn't on my camera. That's too close for my camera. Oh, hold on one sec, Instagram. My camera stand is being kind of a jerk. So everyone on all the other streams isn't seeing things properly. Okay. So to thread it without licking it, I like to just kind of roll it so that it's all bundled up. I'm just waiting for my camera to focus. There we go. And then I slide it down so that I basically can't see it. Line up the hole, and then I'm going to like push my fingers open. So I'm just going to go bleh, and then that's got everything threaded. And then just pull it through. So that's why I lick it, because then I don't have to like worry about the strands not going through properly. But yeah, I realized that I hadn't shown how to do that. So I'm going to do my quilter's knot, which is just pinching and wrapping around. I only need to do once or twice because I've got all 6 strands. And then push it through. Pull until you're at the end. Boop. And then as usual, I'm going to trim off my little tail so that my knot's right at the end. Okay, and we're just going to start at the left and work our way across the piece. So to start this one, we're going to start, instead of like up the top or in the middle like we did with the fishbone stitch, we're actually going to start at the base where it connects to the stem. You want to make sure that there's a little fabric between the stem and where you come up as possible. And then, excuse me, I'm going to just shift that out of the way. And we're just going to go right to the very other end of the leaf to begin with. Now the main thing to remember is you're not wanting to pull your thread through really tight. You're wanting to leave it kind of loose a little bit, and that will give it some lift. Then we're just going to keep coming up in that same bottom spot, making sure that this is still relatively loose. I think you can see the shadow on there of how loose it is. And then it's kind of like the fishbone, where we're going to go on the other sides. And again, we're keeping it very loose. Not so loose that like it's a bridge, but loose enough that it kind of gives a puffy look. And then go back in on the other side. And that's pretty much all you want to do. Just 3 little strands or 3 stitches. Because we're using all 6 strands, it takes up a lot of space, because if you think about it, it's 18 strands of floss just with those 3 stitches. And then like that's comparing the same leaf. And because we've overlapped at the base here, it gives it its own little puffy look as well. So that's the whole leaf. Like that's one leaf done. If you want to make them bigger, you can. Just make sure that you're nice and loose. To make them bigger, you just add some, like maybe one stitch on either side. Again, that would round it out a little bit, but so for this one in particular, I'm going to try and make it a little bit curved on one side. So I'm actually going to come up again, and I'm going to come in on this same side and just give it a little bit of shape. So I could do it again on there and it would round it out a little bit more, but I'd want it to be not symmetrical. That's the word I'm looking for. Asymmetrical. That's the proper word I'm looking for. So remembering that we don't want to pull too tight because we want this to be nice and puffy. And we can just go on to the next one. Making sure that I don't have any questions. So I'm going to do the same thing with this leaf. Just give it a bit more oomph on that side. So that's one whole stem done already. And that's what, been 5 minutes? Because I was talking a bunch. It's a lot faster. I really like how it looks. I was kind of I'll be honest, I was like, oh, that's too easy. That's cheating when it comes to doing so much straight stitches or satin stitches. But after doing this piece, I was kind of converted myself, I guess. This is why I don't think we will have any problem getting the bee done today as well. Which would be good, because the bee's a little bit more complex. It's the same stitch, but it's just a bit more involved. Oh, my nose is itchy again. What is going on? So that one I'm actually gonna use another needle and just adjust the stitches themselves, because I crossed it over a little bit too rough. And then I'm going to come up, not at the same point. I'm coming up. Sorry, I'm waiting for my camera to focus. There we go. I've come up here with all the other ones, and now I'm going to come up just on the side of it so that I can fill in that side of the leaf. So that's it. Now I'm going to cut off because that's carrying it a bit too far for my liking. Oh. Am I going to have another one of these weeks where everything just goes wrong? I don't know how many, if any, of you saw my stream on Thursday evening, and so not the stitch along, just my regular sit and stitch kind of videos. But I was having such a tough night. Everything was going wrong. I was not having a good time. And then I realized partway through that the piece I was working on, I had started it off my grid incorrectly. So it's off center on my fabric, and I'm still fuming to myself about that 4 days later. So that's a thing. Anyway, right now we're doing embroidery, and it's pretty, and we love it, and I love these greens. These low 500 greens, I think, are my favorite. So behind the fabric, I'm actually making sure with my ring finger that I'm not stitching through the knot that I just created to start off the thread. It's not like as a rule that you shouldn't stitch through the knot. It's just, it makes it really hard to pull your needle through, especially when you're using a chunky needle like I am right now. Because your knot is a knot, you know, it's not supposed to be stitched through, really. So I'm going to do one more on the other side to fill out that little shape there. And if you don't like how it's kind of sitting once you've finished, because we're doing it so loose, you can like squash it down. I like how these look. I'm just sort of showing you what you can do. Oh, the sun's coming out. You can actually see my work again nicely. For those of you who don't know, I live in Washington State, so it can be a little bit gloomy, and it was raining most of the weekend, so, well, at least where I am in Washington, it was raining, which is sorely needed. People have been freaking out. Alright, I'm going to cut off my thread because I'm about to run out, and I need to carry it anyway. Alright, so I'm going to get some more because I don't need to, because I want to use all 6, I'm making sure that I get a long pull of it. Just threading it off camera. Going to be making a trip to the craft store after I've had some lunch after this, because I have lots of Christmas orders, like way more than I anticipated or expected, and I need some more fabric to back hoops with, but I'm also on the hunt for sparkly Ada. So wish me luck. I've never used it, so I want to try it. And of course, I don't have enough fabric, of course. But I'm also going to get some more Etoli, I think it's pronounced. I've actually never said it before. The sparkly DMC thread that came out recently-ish. Because there's some Christmassy colours that I'm missing. So I haven't deliberately gone and collected all those colours. Figured I'd get them on an as-need basis, and they're so pretty. I love Etoli. So that'll be good. I tried to do a curbside pickup order, but one of the fabrics was saying that there wasn't enough in stock to do a curbside. So thanks for that. So I'm actually going to deviate away from my pattern a little bit, and I'm actually going to stitch the leaf over the top of this stem just because I wanna. And I'm the boss of this piece, just like you're the boss of your piece, and I can do what I want. So I had like a little rogue strand. You may be able to see it here. You can probably see the shadow more than anything. So to make sure that I don't like snag it, I'm just pushing it aside, and this stitch will hold it in place and won't make it look strange. There. So if you want to make sure that your threads are nice and like fluffy, you just run your thread underneath all of them at once, and then just sort of lift gently and give it a little wiggle, and that'll just make sure they're nice and puffy, because we want some good puffy leaves at the moment. So I figured the other reason I thought that today might be a good reason to do the satin stitch or straight stitch. I can't remember what I called it. What did I call it? The straight stitch. Okay. I mean, technically it is a straight stitch, so, but it could also be considered a satin stitch. The reason I thought that it might be good to do this today is to sort of ease our way back into stitching after the weekend, because it is really quite an easy stitch, and that's why I'm not surprised I don't have many viewers. Oh, I do over on not Instagram. If you're over there and you're live, say hello and let me know how you're doing. I do have the chats open, so it will tell me where you're from and like which platform you're from, not where you live. I've got a knot in the back. There we go. That just random thought. I made an Instagram reel. I made it yesterday and I posted it yesterday. I say that to be clear because I do actually make reels and then save them as a draft to post another time. Yes, I'm that kind of person, apparently now. Anyway, I made and posted a reel yesterday that got so many likes so quickly, like so many for me. I want to explain. So many for me is over 100, because I'm not a big time account or anything. But it was kind of funny. I posted it and then did my interaction quota for 10 or 15 minutes after I posted it, and didn't get any comments. So I'm like, okay, cool, well, I need to be present for my family and blah blah blah. So I turned my phone off, and then like an hour and a half later I checked my phone and seen that it's exploded. I'm just like, I guess people resonated with it. It was funny, I thought. me not bad mouthing, but implying that my children don't allow me to do things that I want, which is true in a way. I don't want to play Frozen Monopoly with the 5-year-old's rules that takes like 5 hours to complete. I don't want to do that. I don't know many people that would want to do that, I'll be honest. Hello! Seem edible. There's 2 B's in there, so that threw me off. Over on Instagram, to be clear. I'm so bad at trying to pronounce real life names, so usernames are just, good try. So this does use up a lot of floss really quickly, this stitch, because we are using all 6 strands and we're doubling over on ourselves, like we're creating the stitch in a way on the back too. So just be aware of that, which is funny because like that's all I've got left of that floss. I might actually check before I leave to go to the craft store today, see if I need any more of this colour, because I might. Hopefully not today. That would be embarrassing. I did that already in one of my stitches. The stitch alongs, I mean. I think it was the first one, where I was like learning on the fly. It gets all squarey when I get down to the end of the bobbin. That's a good either or poll that I should do on my Instagram. Do you wind your floss on a bobbin or do you leave it like this on the skein? I might do that. I might, not right now, but I might ask that question because I'm curious. I asked a question earlier today over on my Instagram, and it's about reels, so head over there and give it an answer if you're so kind. Mostly it's my curiosity, it's got nothing to do with stitching. This little bit of the fabric keeps catching. So again, I'm struggling a little bit because I'm trying not to puncture the knot at the start of the floss. So let me know what you think as well if you're on live, or if you're not, if you're watching this after the fact, let me know in whatever comments there are available to you, how you're doing with the stitch along and which is your favorite stitch so far, and if you're using one of the other color options, that would be cool as well. I can't wait to see what color options people have done, I'll be honest. I know at least one person is using one of the options that I provided that isn't just the same one as this. So I can't wait to see hers. So just a reminder for this stitch, we want to keep it nice and loose because we want nice puffy little leaves. Oh, that was a skinny mini. I'm going to carry my thread just because the knot's annoying to deal with. Oh, I forgot about these ones. That's alright. I wouldn't really want to carry my thread all the way up there. Pulled that a little tight, so I'm just going to pause and run my needle under it gently. That just fluffs it up a little bit. Oh my goodness. We're already 30 minutes in. Which is weird because I looked at the time, I'm like, 12 o'clock, what? That means it's the top of the hour, but it's not this time. Hopefully the change in time isn't an annoyance for people. Yeah, I was having trouble figuring out my days with doing it at 12, and my husband was also kind of a bit sad because he wanted to have lunch with me because he still works from his home office. Alright, because it's pretty far to carry it now, I'm gonna tie it off and I'll move up to those leaves that I missed. I'm gonna have enough thread of this colour, so all good. Like I just sort of gauged it mentally. It'll be close, but I'll have enough. And that's all that matters. Alright. I didn't really expect it to be very chatty today, because this is a very easy stitch. So to kind of give this one a bit of a curved look, I'm only going to do this side. So it's flat on one side now, and it looks like it's curved on the other. So again, to be clear, I mentioned this the other day. There are rules to embroidery, but there are no rules. The main thing, in my opinion, when it comes to embroidery, is to enjoy what you're doing, and ideally make a piece that you love. Oh, I pulled that a bit tight. So I should have done the lazy daisy after. So what I'm going to do for this one is kind of like try and get them to look like they're sitting next to each other in a way, which is not working out very well. So I'm going to just go in there for that one and then come out here to curve it. So yeah, I did them the wrong way around. I should have done the leaves first and then the flowers. But I got excited the other day and I wanted to get some colour on there, which is not technically a colour because it's white, but you know what I mean. But that looks okay. Alright, I gotta... Actually, no, I can do another leaf with this cut. We'll just make it a little skinny one. There we go. Oh, it is going to be cutting it close, like for reals. Oh no, this is a lot more than I expected. This is really, really long. Okay, we'll be fine. It's a really long bit of thread though, so I'm going to be pulling the thread through for a couple of days each time. So hang tight, we'll get there. Alright, I'm going to just trim off my little tail bit. And Let's keep going. So again, I'm just moving the knot out of the way at the back so that I don't punch my needle through that. Because not only oh my gosh, I feel like I'm losing my voice. Not only will the needle not go through the knot not go through the knot properly, but the floss it just starts to fray quicker if you do something like that. If you've noticed that when you're stitching, especially cross stitching, this part of the thread, so there's your needle and then this is the tail bit, if you notice that gets all like frayed, that's just because you've got a really big long cut of thread and you're constantly pulling it. Oh my god, I just did that, didn't I? That's pretty special. Okay, so if you don't understand what I've just done, this has come out of the top and I've just come underneath and tried to do a stitch. So to undo it, I'm going to pull through and then holding my needle upright, yeah, pull it through like that. Okay, we're going to go back in that way. Wow, go me. I did that on stream the other night, like 2 weeks ago. But that time it was out of adrenaline because I was like, I felt like I had messed up my stitching real bad. Anyway. Come on. Now I've just twisted up my thread real bad. Moral of the story, the original story, is try not to cut too long of pieces of thread, because there's a few reasons why it's good to have a shorter piece, says the person who has like 2 arm lengths of thread going on right now. I just didn't want to cut 2 short pieces of what I had left. I made that one pretty loose. I just did it again. Oh my goodness. And I'm used to being able to just poke the needle back in and going in that way because of cross stitch if I do something silly like that. My brain is not functioning the way it should right now. Just everyone pretend you didn't see that twice, okay? Okay. Good. I know what I'm doing with stitching. I promise. I promise. My thread's getting really tangled. So I'm going to try and let it hang. Untwirl just a little bit. It's really hard when it's attached to the hoop stand. One thing I've been meaning to ask to Instagram actually is I hope you guys don't mind that my video is sideways when I'm stitching. And the reason I have it like that is initially it was so that I could upload a video that looked good on YouTube. But it's also because my camera stand that I'm using won't let me turn my phone vertical and it not be completely in my way. So I hope that it's okay that I do that and people don't mind just turning their phone. Oof. It's super tangled. Come on, there we go. Come on thread, hang in there. I'm going to be able to cut it off in one more stitch. Come on. Okay, I'm just going to loosen that a bit. There we go. Alright. Tie that off. Knock my phone so that everyone goes wobble. Alright, I'm just gonna get my thread to take a chill pill. Stop being so wiggly. Hopefully that helped. Hey, Taaya49 over on YouTube. How you doing? We are just doing some straight stitches. So we're doing nice, easy stitch today. And I was just dealing with my thread being a monster. So I'm going to make this one nice and flat too, like this one over here. So I'm going to come up in a little bit and then go in right next to the other stitches. Once we've done these leaves, we are all done with the green. Isn't that exciting, everyone? And then we have to do some exciting things. Yeah, alright. So we're gonna do our little bee next. But that's all our leaves done. My nose is still itchy. So that's exciting. All done with green. Just gonna tie it off. And that's all I got left of that colour too. Which is not a lot. But it's enough. I'll wind that back on my bobbin. That's all I got left. It's not much. Anyway. So, the next thing, as I said, we're going to do is our little bee's body. So for that, Oh, I didn't mention the bee body itself with colours. Anyway, so for that we're going to be using our 3799 and our yellow, obviously, which is 18. And that again is if you're using the original colours that I picked. If you're doing other colours, this one will be in all the other options, but there will be a different kind of yellow selected in the other options. So just keep that in mind. Now I'm going to look at what I used on this, and eventually I'll update the pattern. I think that's 4 strands. Yeah. All right. So we're going to have 4 strands of floss. Oh, that's a long cut of that color as well. But it's 4 strands, so let's just run with it. So yeah, 4 strands. I'm going to do the black first. Well, the very dark grey. And I'm going to use my smaller needle. So this is the one I've been using, and this is the one I'm going to use now. So it's a little bit skinnier. I don't remember the sizes. But as long as you've got another needle with a sharp point, then you're all good. Just remember that a smaller needle is going to be harder to thread. Just what I'm dealing with right now. There we go. So I'm going to do my quilter's knot. Trim off the tail. And so the bee's black parts of the body is this the 3 parts, so the 2 ends and the very middle bit. We're going to start with the head, and basically we're just doing horizontal straight stitches to fill in the little area that we've blacked out. I didn't black out the bottom as well, but we get the hint, we get the idea. So to do this, we want to come up at the bottom and adjust cameras so that everything can be seen. Sorry, one sec. My camera is not doing well with its mount. Sorry. I'm going to need to take it off. I think. Alright, I can do this. No, I can't do that. No, I can't do that either. What is happening? Hi. Now you're looking at my roof. Okay. That's tightened it. Whoa. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Make everyone dizzy over on not Instagram. Anyway, so I've come up right in the corner and I'm going to do a tiny little stitch. So even smaller than what we were doing our back stitches. And I'm going to pull through. I'm then going to follow this curve, but I'm not going to go next to the one I did. I'm going to give it a little bit of a gap and then following the exact like line that I'm doing. Why is my camera doing that? I don't think it likes what I did with the swiveling. Anyway, we're going to follow the same direction, and we're going to go all the way up, just so that we make sure we're not we're basically putting down like foundation lines in a way, so that we can then fill them in and they all have the same direction, and we don't start like curving off and making our straight stitches not so straight. So I'm going to do one tiny one in the corner here. And so now that we've got our 4 stitches in place, we're going to go back and fill in the gaps. You won't need to do too many stitches, because it is a tiny bee. Oh. I had to pull tight just then, but I do want to try and keep it puffy a little bit. So again, we can just stick our needle underneath the stitches and give it a little wiggle, and that just evens them all up so that they're all the same height. Can't see what I'm doing. But that's the bee's little head. And then we're just going to do the same thing for the body. And because my needle's already up here, I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. So again, I'm going to do my little foundation stitches. And this will be a bit easier if you've done thinner tracing lines than what I've done, but not impossible. You can do these stitches from left to right or right to left, whichever you prefer. I'm doing them right to left because that's what I did the first one. And then we're just gonna fill them in. It might feel more natural to not do the foundation stitches, because then you're not like crossing over at the back of your work, but I promise you the little foundation stitches that you do are very important. And that's the second part, and then I'm just going to wing. I'm going to just wing the booty of the bee, because I didn't actually sketch it on. kind of a weird angle to do this from, but there we go. So there's our black done. Well, it's off black, but it's black enough. I'm not a fan of using the black, if that makes sense. Unless I'm using it to shade or outline or something like that, things. Just because it's like super black. I definitely prefer to use. Oh, I just took a picture. Whatever. Yeah, I definitely prefer to use. Its number is 3799, and it's the darkest grey that DMC has. And then we're going to get our yellow. Now I've got 2 strands here. How many has that one got? That's got 3 strands. Okay, let's just use this and fold it over. So to remind you, the fold over, I'm going to thread the 2 strands and then bring my 2 ends together. Sorry, my non-Instagram stream is really struggling. I need to figure out why my camera is doing this, but we're about to finish up, so I'm going to have to do it between streams. I think it's because I flipped it so that it wouldn't keep falling. Anyway, I now have 4 strands because I've flipped it in half, and my needle is right at the center. My cat has lost me. He's now meowing like crazy. You can probably hear him because he's very loud. So again, I'm just going to come up and down and do my little foundation stitches. I'm going to come up as close to the grey as I can, and then come into the grey as I can, like as close to it, so that we don't have any gaps of colour. And we want to keep the same direction going as the grey that we did. So that same horizontal line. And just because I'm running out of yellow, I'm going to go down. So the yellow is going to be less forgiving when it comes to like looking flat in colour, because it's a lighter colour than the grey. So that's where the fact that we're doing these nice and loose is going to come into play, because running our needle underneath it evens it out like that. And I'm going to run out of yellow before I'm done the whole bee, which sucks. I was greedy. Oh, I gotta move the knot of the dark grey out of the way, because I was trying to puncture it then and it was not working. There we go. Before I tie it off, I'm just gonna wiggle some of those kinks out. Kind of looks like a little fairy bee. Okay, snip. And then we'll do the rest of the bee and then we'll wrap up for the day. just getting my floss ready off camera. Trying to, anyway. That's the key word, I guess. Alright. We'll do the rest of the little body. So again, we're coming up and down as close to the grey as possible so that we don't have any gaps in fabric, or gaps in floss, to show the fabric through. It's more accurate. We also want to make sure we get the edge of the body so that it looks like it curves properly. I'm gonna do one more. There we go. So cute. Alright, so it's after 12:30, so we are gonna do the wings another time, which is fine. But we got lots done. We're all finished with all the greens. That is, unless you're doing some green flowers in your own color palette, which if you are, kudos. But that's where we're at. Ow! I stabbed myself. Ow. Okay, anyway. I'm gonna move my phone. I'm gonna try. Okay, well, the camera's being a jerk, but that's okay. So that's where we got today. My camera is not focusing. I don't understand why. Did I change that? Nope. Oh, there we go. So that's where we got today. I'll show Instagram in a sec. Instagram gets to see it backwards. But we did awesome. We did all the straight stitch, which is great. And we got some color in there with the yellow and the bee. That's awesome. Very happy with the progress that we're doing. Hopefully you're happy with the progress that you're doing. And yeah, tomorrow we'll be able to start some fun stuff. We might, actually, I mean, I think it's all fun, personally. But we may do a couple more boring things first. We might do the rest of the bee, so the wings and the little line and the lettering. So stuff that we already know what to do with, but will make it easier to do the rest of the stitching and not catch our work by accident. So, but anyway, if you've got any strong opinions on what we stitch next, let me know in the comments or in a direct message or whatever. But otherwise, thanks so much for joining, and hopefully you are enjoying the stitch along. So until tomorrow, I'll see you around the internet. Bye.